The Senate Judiciary Committee had a confirmation hearing with Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche. Yesterday, this happened, and they pressed him hard on issues from the Epstein files to the so-called anti-weaponization slush fund for January 6th rioters. And this is what happened.
You have said that the weaponization fund is a moot issue. Is that your position?
Yes, it is a moot issue, meaning there is no weaponization fund.
Are you and President Trump friends?
I'm his lawyer, was his lawyer, and now I'm the Deputy Attorney General.
These women have reported their crimes decades ago, but yet you won't meet with them. What you will do is meet with Ghislaine Maxwell. Just 1 week after your meeting, Ms. Maxwell was transferred from a low-security federal institution to a minimum security prison camp. Were you involved with that transfer?
As I've talked about before, in the time leading up to me going down to meet with her, we learned that she was receiving threats.
When people are under threats in a Bureau of Prison facility, they're put into solitary confinement or protective. They're not moved to a camp.
So you know, or maybe you don't know, that if one Republican on the panel votes against him, he's out. So what are the chances that someone will break with the party?
Zero.
Not high. So Corden has said he's undecided. Corden, Donald Trump endorsed against him in Texas, so he's now a lame duck. I think he'll ultimately support him. The person I'll be watching in the full Senate confirmation hearings is Susan Collins, because she's in this tough re-election fight in Maine. She's someone who voted for most all of Obama's nominees and has voted against some of Trump's. So she's kind of, she does use her judgment when it comes to nominees. But what I thought was interesting is this, on the Epstein of it. He was, Todd Blanche was grilled more about the administration's handling. He more or less said that there was no evidence that there was a grand conspiracy with more actors beyond Epstein. But while he said this, and while he's selling to the American public that he should be Attorney General, J.D. Vance was on Joe Rogan, and I want to play what he said.
People want to say we mishandled the Epstein release. Guilty. We did mishandle, especially the communications of it.
What do you think should have been done?
I think that we should have just dropped everything at the very beginning. And like, obviously it takes a little time to review the stuff, to find the stuff, to redact things where you have victims and so forth. But we should have just done it as quickly as possible.
Well, Trump's going to be mad.
J.D. Vance is absolutely right there, but I have never seen a vice president so undermine the attorney general pick while he's literally testifying on Capitol Hill that he handled this the right way. It was, I mean, the president must be mad
But
today.
I think it was, in that answer, he said that, that they mishandled it, that they mishandled the comms. I think they mishandled a lot more than the comms. I think they mishandled the substance. Let us remember that the only reason that we've gotten only half of the Epstein files released is because Republican women, people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, like Nancy Mace, like Lauren Boebert, refused to bend the knee to Trump, despite the fact that Trump brought them into the Situation Room, brought Lauren Boebert into the Situation Room and tried to bully her into changing her vote. So it was because these Republican women, because there was a bipartisan vote to force the release of these files, because Trump's DOJ has been slow walking this and hiding these files since the moment he got there.
So
and it's not.
Are you saying the women have bigger
What I'm
than the
saying,
men?
no,
they have
what
bigger
I'm saying,
breasts than the men,
what
and
I'm
that's a powerful
saying
thing
is
too.
That it wasn't the comms that was mishandled. They have mishandled,
Explain
and it wasn't
the
just
comms, baby.
communications.
Yeah.
So it wasn't, you know, it's not the.
The PR was bad, but that wasn't the
The
problem.
reason the PR was bad is because their policy and what they were doing was bad, because they didn't want to be truthful, because they exposed the identities of more than 21 survivors. They missed their deadline of when to release. Roughly 3 million documents are left to be released. So this is not a comms problem.
Yeah.
This is a DOJ dysfunction and not wanting to release and to be
But
transparent.
they're all
and
in the
truthful
bag for
problem.
this delusional president, for this guy who basically just paid $5 million to Stormy Daniels.
No, Jeannie Carroll.
I'm sorry, Jean Carroll, right.
But the most
no,
telling
Stormy
moment-
was the, she was the one that liked it, I think.
Well,
Like what?
Her richer relationship with him.
the
Go
most
ahead.
telling moment in
No.
that clip was
No.
when they said, "Are you friends with President Trump?" And he said, "I'm his lawyer." I mean, I was his lawyer. Because
Freudian.
that's the point, is that it should be an independent acting agency, and that was saying the quiet part out loud. That's how he sees himself, as that. But I also think anyone that was a part of moving Ghislaine Maxwell needs to be immediately just it's a disqualifier for me because, as they said in prisons, you put them in solitary, and he said she'd gotten threats. That's what happens to pedophiles in prison, called prison rules. We're no longer in charge. Like, let her go.
He's okay with interviewing Ghislaine, who's the perp, and not the victims. He wants to send his assistant to interview the victims.
He should absolutely interview.
Why do you think that is? Why is he afraid?
I thought that was odd that
he's
he refused to
afraid
commit
to
to
talk
it.
to these victims because I think he knows that they're going to spill the tea on his friends and neighbors.
Also, he's probably uncomfortable. This is not, he's a lawyer. He is not someone who goes and interviews people. It's just not his thing. He sends assistants to do stuff like that. He has his.
Not
he
good
had one.
enough.
No, it's
I
never
think it's harder
good enough.
to look the victims and
In
the
the
survivors
eye.
in the eyes
Yes.
when you
The
know
question-
those are the people
But
you betrayed.
about
Yeah.
Ghislaine Maxwell, the question is, why have they not admitted that it was a mistake to move her to this minimum security camp and moved her back? What
you
is it
actually
that she's
say that?
holding?
She has
that she's
information.
holding
She's got
above her head?
intel. That's why.
Listen, and also, you know, none of these folks should be in the jobs they're in. None of them are qualified to do these jobs. None of them. If you can't go and talk to people who you're supposed to be taking care of, then you can't be in the job.
But it's a question of integrity more than the qualification.
Well, then
I
you
think.
know. Well, it's
Well, neither
for me,
is
it's-
usually
it's-
present with
It's
these
not
kids.
there with these guys.
And we should note that the president has denied any affair with Stormy Daniels.
Yeah.
He has.
He has.
Yeah. Many times.